Hello and welcome back to my vlog. I am Rem and this is the third week of my journey to a MS in Responsible AI at the Open Institute of Technology. So this week, still more of the schoolwork. Yesterday, actually tried to start the study group for programming support for my classmates or my batchmates. But unfortunately, no one came. Actually, I've been noticing this more now, in which a lot of my classmates aren't as engaged anymore during classes. There's only three people who actually try to ask questions or answer questions by the professor. I don't know what's happening because I'd appreciate more people engaging during those discussions. Let's see, it's still early days. One of the challenges in an online course or online, bachelor's or master's course is that it's going to be hard to actually make connections and network. But I'm still hopeful. This is only the third week, right? So probably because the heavy topics aren't there yet. I mean, in programming, we still haven't really started anything complex. We're still on the basic stuff, although our professor actually promised to build a separate pathway for programmers who are experienced already. A lot of the things being taught are a bit for our level. I'm not an expert, but you know what I mean, right? Declaring variables, for loops, if else, those are pretty foundational, and more or less the tech professionals already have an idea of how they work. So our professor is actually thinking of maybe creating a separate pathway for us. But still, there's a lot in the class who don't have experience, writing code. So, as I mentioned last week, I volunteered to be one of the organizers of the study group. And I don't think anyone else actually created one, just me. So, I announced it during class. I also posted it on our batch Slack, but I only got, thumbs up reactions. And yesterday, during that, I waited for about 15 minutes and no one came. I don't find it embarrassing and just maybe, just kind of disappointed because I was really hoping I could network with some of my classmates, but that didn't happen. But, there's going to be opportunities maybe in the future. Again, this is just the third week. We haven't even had our exams yet, so let's see. But in terms of engaging myself, with the classes, with the courses, and asking questions during class, I'm still consistently doing that, and I think I'm the only one now who is keeping their webcam open. The rest of my classmates, they have their webcams off. So I don't understand, I think having the webcams on helps the professor get feedback from the class if, there's something we're not understanding, or something that's unclear, or if something is, being delivered well. And it's hard to see that without faces, There's value in visual cues, especially facial expression. So, it's hard to present to people while you don't see their faces. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm very conscious in making sure that my camera is open all the time. Of course, there were a couple of times that I couldn't do that, but as much as possible, I always open my camera. And one thing that that's quite disappointing during the supposed coding support group last Saturday was I was already very sleepy. But I wanted to do this, so I powered through. Maybe I got up around a 5-minute power nap before that session, but still no one came. It's a shame, but on the flip side, the silver lining is I got to sleep early, but it's still wasted opportunity to try to find or try to network with people. So I'm still hopeful, that would happen eventually. Maybe not yet, but in the coming weeks. So that's that. And also, on a more positive note, we had a topic this week in human-centered AI design that really resonated with me, and I was really excited about the readings and the discussions in the class. And it's about the difference between rationalism and empiricism. So thinking radically versus empirical thinking. So, but before that, let me just provide you a bit of context. Like I said in a previous episode, one of the reasons why I pursued this program is I wanted to equip myself with knowledge and expertise in trying to deal with the coming, what I felt was the onslaught of bad AI practice. I felt that the current landscape of where AI is going isn't sustainable. A lot of us are aware that AI is being branded now as something that would replace humans, right? That's what a lot of the C-level executives and even managers, business owners are probably thinking, that we would use AI to replace human labor, which they are incentivized to do that because that would mean, savings in terms of salaries and, the quote-unquote productivity boost, right? And I felt that, is that right? Is that the only way that AI will move forward? There must be some other way. And I felt that even before this course, I felt that AI is supposed to make humans better, make the human laborer better, not replace the human. And especially here in the software development industry, I didn't believe, and I still don't believe, that AI will replace software developers. I really don't believe it. I could go into more detail about it. I think I already had recorded a video on the use of AI in software development. I'll be putting that out maybe in a couple of weeks, or maybe this week. I'll try to, if I get the time. But yeah, I discuss my thoughts there. I recorded it, I think, after the first video. Someone commented there asking about my thoughts about it, and I answered it during the video. So I won't discuss that here. So yeah, that was my belief. That was what I was feeling when, especially during the peak of the hype cycle of AI. And this week, during the course of human-centered AI design, or HCAID, while I was reading the literature discussing, radicalism and empiricism. No, not radicalism. I'm sorry. I kept saying radicalism. Rationalism and empiricism. So it's rational thinking versus empirical thinking. Radical thinking is another thing. I'm sorry about that. But so during reading the literature on it, I felt really validated, because apparently what I was feeling, what I was thinking, and what I believe AI should be heading to is what empirical AI is trying to push. So there's a movement around it, and it's called responsible AI or ethical AI, and it's built on the concept of empiricism. And on the other hand, the current narrative or the current landscape of AI that's being pushed to all of us, which is, automation, replacing humans with AI, is on the other side, which is built on the rationalist philosophy around building tech. So this was a very huge epiphany for me to realize that you are not alone in this thinking, that there actually are people and thought leaders who are actually pushing for this and advocating for AI to augment human capabilities instead of, replacing them outright. Of course, we are also realistic here. The truth may be, or the right path may be somewhere in between rationalism and empiricism. So that's the path that we need to find. But right now, everything is moving towards automation and replacing humans, which is, I don't think will be the sustainable path, because once you replace all these humans, all of us from the workforce, let's say that's possible, Never mind if I think that it's impossible. Let's remove that from the equation. But let's say that's possible, that we remove humans from the equation. What happens to the economy, right? To the global economy. People are saying that we will replace salaries with universal basic income, in which every citizen of a nation will receive a certain monthly stipend for them to support their lifestyle, support the buy necessities, and it may be even the occasional luxury, and that would come from the government, as part of maybe a social subsidy, right? And they call it universal basic income, UBI. I mean, that's well and good, in theory, but with how things are happening now all over the world, I mean, there's a lot of protests, rallies against corruption, and with how there's just a very few people in the world who hold the vast majority of resources and wealth here in our planet, in the world. How would that work? How could UBI work? And how sure are we that governments will actually look out for their people when the government officials themselves are so consumed by greed that even here in the Philippines, it's so frustrating. I really don't see that happening. So if you try to automate everything, if you try to remove the human labor from your economy, I firmly believe that society will collapse. And I don't know what a societal collapse will actually look like. But certainly, whatever happened to Nepal, whatever is happening now in Georgia, in Indonesia, even, South Korea, that's going to multiply, I don't know, 10x, 100x, because the people will fight back. But, let's see. That's a scenario where, where AI can actually automate everything. And I don't think that would happen. So, that doomsday scenario, I feel there's a small chance that would happen. But again, these AI companies are pushing for it. And I think we need to step back and look at the other side of the spectrum. Is there a better way of doing this? And I've seen this happen, in a lot of the companies that people I know have been in which they try to actually implement technology for technology's sake. And that's also part of the rationalist thinking, in which, you just build technology for its sake or for its own sake. And this is the way LLMs, Gen AI is actually moving towards. Like ChatGPT was built, but what problem is it actually trying to solve? It isn't really clear, right? It's so general purpose that maybe it can solve this problem, or no. Maybe this problem? I don't know. No? I mean, it solves some of my problems, like, trying to brainstorm ideas, in ideation phase. But is all of it worth that value for me? Like the data centers that are being built right now, which are affecting a lot of residents in the United States, Europe, wherever, China maybe. Is it all worth it? The energy consumption, the pollution, not only in terms of waste, but also noise pollution. I just got to watch a video, I think from BBC, I forgot, that data centers are producing so much noise that it's affecting the mental health of people living around the vicinity, even though data centers are maybe a few kilometers away, because there's going to be a humming noise, because there are machines there that operate to cool down these GPUs and these hardware. There's going to be a bit of a buzz that's going to be produced, and with the massive consumption of energy of these data centers, that buzz is going to cause a lot of noise. So yeah, I feel for the people who are living in these data centers, and no one, at least BBC is sounding the alarm, but government is turning a blind eye. At least Europe is trying to create regulations around it, but United States is, let's not talk about it. So yeah, is these harmful effect worth it? For me, I think it's not. I mean, it's there. I'm going to use it when I actually need it. But there's gotta be a better way. Should we still scale this, or maybe we should scale back, or maybe we should try finding better algorithms, more efficient algorithms, or maybe let's just accept that this has plateaued. That any further growth in data center capacity doesn't really translate to much anymore. This is still unknown. I mean, people are trying to actually study it. If where's the peak, right? I don't think anyone has found it yet, but you could feel it, right? In terms of how for example, ChatGPT is responding now. It isn't as breathtaking as it first came out, right? And I feel, at least it's anecdotal, but at least now I feel it's more prone to hallucination. I don't know. It's hard to actually measure, right? Because I didn't actually measure a couple of years ago, so I can't really compare. But you could feel it, right? And even though they hype each release, I don't think that any more advancement in terms of scaling this is going to add significant value to these LLM. This is really validating for me. It actually pushes me more towards really pursuing this, because the field of responsible AI ethics, AI governance, there's still a lot to be discovered. There's still very few research papers being put out that actually tackles this. And I believe that there needs to be more focus on it. Governments, the academe, they need to band together to actually produce more research around this. And even, private sector. We need to find a better way of doing this. Building more data centers is not the answer. And building AI just for AI's sake is not the answer. And going back to the companies that I mentioned earlier, in which, or even CEOs, CTOs who are adopting AI just for the sake of it and giving blanket statements like adopt AI or else. That is not a strategy, right? Like, adopt AI. What does that mean? Like, a lot of these CEOs don't even understand the problems that they have. So if you don't know the problems that your organization has, how can you even implement AI? There's also something parallel happening here in the Philippines, in which, because of the corruption, some senators, some politicians are pushing for implementing blockchain as a way to add transparency to government budget and allocation and in spending. And they're trying to inject technology to solve a very systemic problem instead of solving the system itself, trying to find ways to prevent people from actually stealing. Because like people have been saying, I'm not a blockchain expert, right? And I actually haven't really dived deep into this, since, again, I don't have the time anymore. But from my very shallow knowledge of how blockchain works, it's just another piece of technology, right? Maybe things are public, so is open source, right? You can even open up your database for everyone to peek into. What's stopping government from doing that? No, you don't need blockchain for that. You can open up your database for read access of the public, right? Yeah, maybe blockchain allows for immutability. Maybe you could apply blockchain in terms of an audit trail of that database. Whenever that something changes, you could save it to the blockchain, but that's still very overkill, right? But yeah, the government is trying to solve it with technology without really understanding what does it really take to solve the problem. This blockchain is a shiny new object. It's sexy, but even people in the tech communities are saying that even the people from the blockchain community are saying that no, this isn't the solution. But they're trying to push it. So let's see. I'm following it, the progress of the discussions, but I can't really follow it closely. But let's see. But so yeah, those are my thoughts on this week. Really a mixed bag, on one hand, I couldn't achieve yet my goal of building my network with my classmates yet, but on the other hand, we got to discuss a very, very good topic on responsible AI, and I'm really looking forward to the next few weeks. Until the next video, thank you for watching. And if you like this video, if you have questions about OPIT or the MS program in general, just comment down below. I'll try to answer them, maybe in a video, or maybe just reply to your comment. But until next time, see you guys. Thank you.